Right. Let's now bring in Democratic Congressman John Garamendi of California. On the House side here, sir, you have been part of the discussions going back and forth, and as you now look over to the other House, you look at the Senate, what is your reflection here on what may have happened and what will happen in the next 14 hours?
Well, I think we're getting a whole lot closer. Now there's a commitment to finally get this issue of immigration, large and small, the DACA as well as the larger immigration issues, on the floor of the Senate. That's good. But I think they're going to need to go a little bit further. Clearly, this is going to be negotiated first in the Senate. The big question that I have is, what can you get through the House? Now, the House is a very conservative operation. Been trying to put together some folks on the House, some conservatives, and some of those that are interested in the DACA deal, to try to talk early on about what is the art of the possible here.
What is the art of the possible, sir?
Well, we're going to see. There were 3 different plans that have been put together over the last several months. If you take a look at those plans and you lay them out, you'll find that there are opportunities. You take a little from one plan and some from the other, and then the DACA piece. Yeah. I think we can get there. I really do. And we have to. The public really needs to deal with it. We've got to get this government funded. As it stands, Representative, when you hear what Mitch McConnell is saying, similar, very here to Rand Paul's suggestion a little bit earlier, let's put in writing that we will discuss this very issue of immigration, DACA, as well as chain migration and other elements, the wall, for instance, that will lay out a day-by-day or date-by-date schedule, and we're going to put it in black and white. Is that enough, you think, for the folks on the other side of the aisle for you? Well, there's certainly a big improvement from where we are today, but there's this big question mark, and it's down on 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Where's the president on this? And he better be signing that document also, because that has been one of the real fault lines in this entire negotiation process. Your belief then here is, in other words, for this whatever bill comes to pass here and it hits the House, that it is going to need Donald Trump to come down, the president, and say, I support this coming over from the Senate, and then maybe rank and file Republicans on the House will then sign off on this. That's what you're saying? I think it's going to be very important. He said he'd take the heat. Well, yeah. I think he's going to have to be a leader in this. Otherwise, you've got some very, very conservative folks and some people that are very heated on this entire immigration issue over in the House of Representatives. So that is a problem. First, the Senate. But the Senate should be very, very aware of the mistake that the House made. The House Republicans did not negotiate with the Democrats at all on this continuing resolution, so it went over to the Senate really without any Democratic support. We don't need that coming back to the House. We've got to have an early discussion, make sure that there's some sign-off among some of the key players in the House of Representatives on the Republican side. What are some of the discussions that have led up to what happened in the last hour that you're aware of? What are some of the nuances of the detail going back and forth, either from right to left or within the 2 respective parties in the House? Well, I just really can't tell you that. I can kind of guess about what's going on. Obviously, there was these 20 senators that were working together. They're working on some detail that's critically important at the top leadership level. I think it's a matter of nailing down some of the details so that there's absolute assurance that there will be a vote and some clear outlines on what will be in that. Is this enough for you, sir? Is this enough? Now, putting it in schedule, would you vote for this? Well, we don't know exactly what it is, but I really want this over. This is a very, very serious problem. In California, we have people dying because of the influenza. And at the same time, we have the Center for Disease Control shut down. We know that there are some 40 clinics throughout California that are not going to be operating. They're the ones that will be the first receivers as this flu really begins to hit my state. And that's just one of many, many problems. We've got to get the government back operating. So you're going to wait to get more detail. You cannot support it based on what you've heard so far from Mitch McConnell saying, I'm going to put this in a schedule February 8th. If we haven't not come up with a solution, we'll then put it in calendar. Well, that's just nice words, but we really need to have more detail than that about what this is. And as I said, this is not going to start in the House of Representatives. No. This is a Senate action right now. That's right. If they get their act together and get some detail, even though it may not be the final version, then I suspect that there'll be plenty of votes in the House of Representatives. There were before.
All right, California Representative, thank you so much from California. As I just said, Democrat John Garamendi, thank you, sir, for your time today. I know it's a late night, 10:17 on a Sunday. I thank you for stopping by.
My pleasure.
All right, we have more reaction to what happened just an hour ago.